With region tournaments beginning tomorrow, we've arrived at the final Class B girls basketball poll of the winter. Even with the final weeks approaching, there was plenty of movement this week. 6 of the 10 spots are different. Thompson takes back over the number 1 seed. Kenmare Bobels drops to 2. Central Cass and Rugby flop spots ahead of the Skyhawks, who stay at 5. Central McLean drops a spot, and the final 3 places remain the same. All 8 regions begin their tournaments tomorrow and wrap up on Thursday. We're on to the final 3 boys basketball polls, and 90% of this top 10 is different. Central Cass takes the top spot and are now only one of only 2 teams in the state that haven't lost this year. The other is the Century Boys. The only team that stays put is Beulah at 8. Shiloh moves up a spot after beating 4 wins Minnewacan. The Class B boys region tournaments begin on the first Monday in March. Bismarck State restarted their cross-country and track and field programs this year after decades of lying dormant. Despite the new era being in its infancy, a lot of new athletes are breaking decade-old records that were set back in the early days of Mystic athletics. Yesterday morning at the Marauder Tune-Up, 2 athletes broke the triple jump records that were previously set in 1972. Jaron Opdahl and Cole Rohrbach both passed the record that stood for 51 years. Opdahl jumped more than 43 feet, and Rohrbach jumped 42 feet and 11 inches. Along with the school records, 10 Mystics PR'd in the tune-up. Dickinson State women's track and field took home top honors in the North Star meet down in Brookings today. The Blue Hawks take first place by more than 100 team points. In the men's rankings, DSU took second. Dakota State runs away with the meet at 254 points. DSU softball getting their season started this weekend. They played 2 today in Aberdeen. They won both, 4-2 in the first, 9-1 in the second. UMary Tennis began their season at the new facility in Mandan today, taking 5 of 7 over MSU Moorhead. Tom Hoagie wrapped up his weekend at the Genesis Invitational today. The now 17th ranked golfer in the Cup standings shot 7 under on the weekend and finished tied for 14th. He's now over $2 million in earnings this PGA season. It's time for the best thing I saw this week. We all have heard what happened last Monday at Michigan State University. After a week full of sadness and grief, the Spartan men's basketball team played their first game since the shooting yesterday night. It was at their rival, the University of Michigan, and the Wolverine faithful showed their support for MSU. This is the Michigan Pep Band playing the Michigan State alma mater before the game. Michigan Athletics had signs and shirts made that said Spartan Strong, had a 30-second moment of silence for the 3 lives lost, as well as performing the university's sacred song. With so much darkness over the state of Michigan this past week, these 2 bitter athletic rivals showed the entire country that oftentimes it is bigger than sports. This was just something cool to see. Tom Izzo breaking down into tears, the legendary Michigan State basketball coach, as someone from the state of Michigan. This was definitely